Have you ever stared at that blank page on your teaching exam, just totally stumped on how to answer the big reading question? Yeah, you're definitely not alone. But today, we're going to break it all down with a simple, really powerful framework that's going to help you write an amazing response. Let's dive in.
Look, you know the content, you know your stuff, but that open-ended essay question, it can feel super intimidating. But don't you worry, there's a really easy way to structure your answer that'll show off everything you know and seriously impress the people grading it. And here it is. Meet the Fab Five of reading. Honestly, this is your secret weapon. It's your roadmap to a fantastic score. It takes all the essential skills of reading and breaks them down into this clear, easy-to-remember structure. Once you get the Fab Five, you'll be able to tackle pretty much any reading question they throw at you. So, what are the Fab Five? Well, I want you to think of them like a staircase. Each step builds on the one right before it, and they all lead up to the ultimate goal, which is, of course, reading comprehension. Let's break them down. Okay, here they are. Number 1, phonemic awareness. That's all about sounds. 2, phonics, connecting letters and sounds. 3, fluency, the flow of reading. 4, vocabulary, knowing what words mean. And number 5, the top of the staircase, comprehension. Now, let's be clear. The whole point of reading is comprehension, right? Understanding the text. But you just can't get there unless you've got a solid foundation in the other 4 skills first. So, let's start at the very bottom of that staircase with the first 2 building blocks, phonemic awareness and phonics. This is all about getting a handle on the relationship between the sounds we hear and the letters we see. This chart just perfectly nails the difference between these two. Phonemic awareness is only about sounds. It's totally auditory. You could literally do it in the dark with your eyes closed. Phonics, on the other hand, brings in the visual part. It's all about connecting those sounds to the actual letters on the page. So, one of the absolute best ways to teach phonemic awareness is with a really fun little activity called deletion. It's super simple. Students just learn to take away a sound from a word. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, imagine I ask a classroom of kids to say the word stick. Easy enough. Everybody says stick. Then I'd say, okay, now say stick one more time, but this time don't say the S sound at the beginning. And what do you get? The students say tick. And just like that, you've done it. They've isolated and removed a single sound, all with their ears, no letters involved. And of course, deletion is just one tool in the toolbox. You can also have students count the individual sounds in a word, or break words into bigger chunks like onset and rhyme. Or, for a more advanced skill, you can try substitution, where they swap sounds to make totally new words. All right, so once a student can hear all the individual sounds, it's time to crack the code. And that's where phonics comes in. This is where we learn all the rules that connect letters to sounds. It's like getting a secret decoder ring for reading. We're basically teaching students to become pattern detectives, you know? They learn to spot common phonics rules, like the silent E and make that tells the A to say its name. They also learn about vowel teams, like how E and A team up to make one sound in mean, and even tricky sounds like the oi in boil. Okay, so now our students can actually sound out words. That's huge. But now we need to help them read smoothly and actually know what those words mean. And that's where fluency and vocabulary step in. If you want to build fluency, the number 1 absolute best way is through repeated reading. Seriously, having students read a short, simple passage over and over again, it does wonders for their confidence and their speed. You can also try breaking up long texts into smaller chunks, reading all together as a class, or even having students echo you, line by line. Next up, vocabulary. We don't want our students getting stuck and having to look up every single new word they find. That would be so slow. Instead, we want to turn them into word detectives, teaching them how to use context clues to figure out the mystery of a new word. And they've got all kinds of clues they can use right there in the text. They can look at the meaning of the words around it, check the grammar of the sentence, look at the spelling of the word itself, or even use the pictures on the page to make a really good guess. So we've laid all this amazing groundwork, and now we've finally reached the top of our reading staircase, comprehension. This is where it all comes together. This is where readers start thinking deeply about what they're reading. And the key to this is a really powerful concept called metacognition. Metacognition, it's a big word, but it's a really simple idea. It's just thinking about your own thinking. For a reader, it's that little voice inside your head that's always checking if you understand, asking questions, and fixing things when you get confused. It's what makes reading an active process, not a passive one. A fantastic way to teach this is with something called a read aloud, think aloud. It's exactly what it sounds like. As the teacher, you read a text and you literally say your thoughts out loud. You might go, I'm not sure what that word means. Let me reread that sentence and look for some clues. This actually shows your students what that internal monologue sounds like.
Okay, so you get the Fab Five. Awesome. But how in the world do you use all this to ace your exam, right? That's the real question. It's actually pretty simple. You don't need to just list off a dozen activities. Instead, you're going to pick one or two really strong strategies and explain them well. Here's your winning formula. It's 3 simple steps. First, just name a specific strategy. Easy. Second, give a quick description of how you'd actually do it in a classroom. And third, and listen up because this is the most important part, you have to explain why you chose it. What skill does it build? Why is that skill so important for a reader?
I'm going to say it again because it is that important. Always, always, always explain the why. This is how you show the graders that you don't just have a list of activities memorized. It shows them you understand the science of reading, the pedagogy, the reason behind the practice. That's what gets you a top score. By understanding the Fab Five, you're not just getting ready for a test, you're getting ready to change lives. You have the roadmap, so the only question left is, how are you going to use it to build the next generation of amazing readers?